Hello, my name is Alissa.
And I'm Britt.
And this is SkeleTales.
This is the podcast that asks the age-old question, is my dead grandma watching me?
So, Britt, you know when you're in your house and all of a sudden you hear a thud against the window and you're a bird has hit the window and you go over to help the bird out and there's nothing there.
Whoa.
That's your grandma.
Does this happen? Do you have dead birds running into your window often?
You don't?
No. You live in the middle of the forest, though, so that makes sense.
I guess so. We do get a lot of thuds. One time there was a bird, actually, I was on the phone. I was like, oh, Jesus, a bird just hit the window. Most of the time you don't really see the birds, but this time there was a big bird, looked dead on the porch. I was like, oh, my God. And I finished my phone call and I went to go clean up this bird. And all that was left was a little pile of bird puke. So it smashed the window, gave itself a concussion.
It got a concussion.
Blah, and then took off, apparently.
Went on its merry way.
Yeah. But when there's not the bird there, it's your grandma. She just is coming in hard for a hug, forgets the glasses in the way.
I love that idea. And then you go out there, there's this little ghostly pile of puke. And it's Grandma, the door is closed. Hey, Alissa.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you, Britt.
Episode 30. We're on episode 30.
Congratulations to you, too. Man, that kind of snuck up on us, huh? Cheers, my friend.
It did.
Cheers.
I know. Cheers.
Dude, 30 episodes. That's some commitment. I mean, it feels like longer, but at the same time shorter.
That's a lot of good stories
There's
to
a
tell.
lot of good stories. Yeah. So happy 30th episode, everybody, dear listeners. I was going to say this podcast isn't just about dead grandmas flying into windows. It's also about paranormal, mysteries, psychic.
Mysteries, spooky, dooky, scary, fun.
Cryptids.
Quirky. Cryptids.
Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Aliens.
Dreams, death, life. We talk about it all.
But this week, we're going to answer some of your burning questions. We are now experts, right? 30 episodes in.
Yes.
We're experts, I guess. That's what they say.
I think we would have a degree at this point if we were in school this long.
At least
30 weeks.
An associates?
Yeah. An associates of the paranormal. That's what we'll say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, we've got some, what did you call it? Not a Q&A. What did you call it earlier?
An AMA. And ask me anything. But what is it when it's us? Ask us anything. AUA. And ask us anything episode.
Q&A and A&A. All day.
All day.
Can I ask the first question?
Yeah, we're just going for it. You're jumping right in.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
we have a lot of questions tonight.
Yeah, no, we sourced them from you. These are your questions. So yeah, sure, go, please, bring it. I'm ready.
Well, literally, when you said you, this question comes from me to you. So get ready. Are you ready?
Yes.
Boop, boop, boop. Okay. Alissa.
Yes.
What would be your dream date with Jermaine Clements?
Oh. Oh my God. Okay. I've thought about this for years. It would be I have not thought about this for years at all. I have not dreamed about this. But honestly, I would go to a Flight of the Conchords concert. That would be for sure a part of the evening. We'd be in New Zealand. He would
that was going to be a question of mine. Yep. Okay.
He would take me for sure to New Zealand. That's it. It would be in New Zealand and we would attend one of his concerts. It would be amazing. We would then take a gondola to a mountain.
Hot in New Zealand.
Yep. A mountaintop where some scene in Lord of the Rings was filmed. And then he would serenade me with
that smooth voice.
Yeah, and have a picnic. And at some point he would lay with his sideways on the ground with his hand under his head. Maybe I'd have his little short shorts on.
Mm-hmm.
We're both married, so it's hard to have a dream date like, is this a platonic dream date? I love him, but it's hard when I really start getting into the deets. I'm like, I feel a little guilty. I don't know.
Well, I didn't think that deep into the question.
I know. Well, it started getting there.
At your own discretion.
I started my mental.
His shirt comes off. The short shorts are on in the mountains
There were
of
definitely
New Zealand.
short shorts. Some posing. He would tell me some jokes, make me laugh.
I love that.
So
serenade, make you laugh.
Yeah.
I'm into it. That's a good date. I love it.
Okay, so I have a question for you, my friend, and that is, what is the biggest fashion mistake you have made? You are very daring on the fashion front, and so I want to know. I want to know what the most questionable choice you made was.
This fashion mistake happened when I was a freshman in high school, and it was the good old Jinko jeans.
Oh,
Because as you know, I'm quite tall. So Jinkos normally are for like skaters, and they'd be real long and frayed at the bottom, but not on me. I would be wearing them and they would be high waters.
Oh.
So can you envision that glory? And I think at the time I had a Care Bear t-shirt I would wear with my Jinkos.
No, that sounds the coolest.
And I got it at
Hot Topic.
Well, Hot Topic was there, but there was a place called Gadzooks or Gazooks or something like that, and it was just like terrible teen overpriced clothing. And,
that is hilarious.
Oh, man.
When I'm picturing you in Jenkos, because you're tall, we talked about that. There's a lot, and Jenkos, for anyone who doesn't know, are like huge, wide bottom, like they're huge, tons of fabric, like raver pants, right? Sort of.
Oh yeah, jeans. It's like, imagine a jean skirt that somebody's just sliced to make into pant legs.
So I'm picturing there
so
had to have been
denim.
like a breeze when you walked by with these. Like I'm picturing them like sails.
Oh yeah,
like
tidal waves.
Oh my God.
of denim just swooping through the hallways of high school.
I never had Jenkos. I did have some wide bottom skater jeans sort of things. So I'm right there with you, but they were appropriately lengthed. And the bottoms were frayed from dragging on the ground. That is hilarious. I would love to see a picture of this. Was there I feel like, were there tags and strings hanging off of those jeans?
Oh, I don't remember, but I do remember the back pockets being really long. Oh, yeah. Like you could probably fit like a full sausage in the back pocket. It was just so a baguette. Yes.
Amazing. Okay.
I'd get a pair just to put a baguette in the back pocket.
Why not? It's convenient.
So we got 2 questions here that kind of ask similarly the same question. So we'll just throw both questions out, and I think maybe we'll both answer. I don't know. Let's try it. Okay, so Tracy Turner says, "What?" Oh, I probably shouldn't use her last name.
You can just say Tracy.
Tracy says, "What made both of you start a paranormal podcast?" Then Julie also asks, "What is an event in your life that sparked your interest in paranormal?" Because I think they'd go hand in hand a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think someone without an interest in paranormal would start a paranormal podcast, probably.
Agreed.
But you would also assume that someone who would start a paranormal podcast would have more general knowledge about the paranormal than either of us do.
True. We started with knowing not even what an EVP was. Look at how we've grown.
We do know that one. So we talked about this in our very first episode a bit. Britt, you have a good paranormal experience, right? Do you want to take this one first?
Well, when I was younger, I want to say it started, probably when my memory started, about 8 or 9, I would see things, mostly shadows and orbs. But then as a teenager, there were some times where I actually saw spirits or ghosts. And so from that, at that point, I guess it's always just been sort of a part of my life experiences. I wouldn't say it defined me, but it definitely has intrigued me. And I've always been drawn to other people's stories because I guess it's relatable and it's intriguing.
Yeah, totally. So I've never seen a ghost, but I think that I had that one weird experience where I woke up and read the morning paper, read the comics, only for a couple hours later, my dad to come downstairs and he'd never even bought the newspaper, never bought the comics, couldn't find them when I looked for them. And then when he did go out to buy them, it was the same comics I had just read. So like it was a glitch in the matrix. But then other than that, probably my family's ghost stories, I'm realizing. Just the stories I heard told growing up probably was what really piqued my interest in it.
Yeah. Stuck with you.
Yeah, but that I don't have a paranormal personal story necessarily that really got me started.
So why the podcast?
Why the podcast?
I'm going to let you answer that one.
I don't know. I'm like, I want to start a podcast about telling weird, bizarre stories because those are the ones I want to hear. And oftentimes I would Google for something and try to find something that I wanted to listen to that covered the topics I wanted to listen to. And I don't know. I just couldn't get enough of those sorts of episodes. So is that what I told you? I don't. And then
So I get a text from Alissa. Alissa and I have been friends for many years now, but we live in different states. We're busy with families. And Alissa texts me and she says, I want to start a podcast. What do you think about these names? And she starts spitballing names at me. And I'm like, I hate that one. That one's okay. I love this one. I love SkeleTales. And she's like, cool. And then she keeps asking me questions. Well, what do you think about this? And she shows me a picture. What about this logo? I was like, yeah, that's cool. I'm like, why is she like? I mean, she must really value my input. And then she comes clean and she's like, so do you want to be my co-host? And at first I was like, I don't think so. Mostly because you guys have heard know and appreciate my horrible cackle. I don't have the like typical radio voice. And she was like, that's bullshit, get over it. And I was like, okay, let's do this thing. And we just fired each other up. And then it just kind of like snowballed from there into this beautiful show that we've created.
Yeah. And I think that I messaged you because I knew that you were a podcast listener and love podcasts as much as I do. Because not everybody, like a lot of people don't even know how to listen to a podcast. And
totally.
You had messaged me and asked me at one point if you could tell my story about the letters in the wall or send it into a podcast called My Favorite Murder. And I'd never heard about that at that point. I didn't know you were into that sort of stuff. And you sort of like validated my curiosity and like obsession. I would honestly try to purposefully avoid murdery podcasts because I thought it made me a bad person to have an interest in them. Also, I love your cackle. You're such an easy laugh. Maybe that's it. Like, no, you just have a good sense of humor.
I tried really hard not to laugh there. A whisper laugh.
Yeah, I love your cackle. I love the snort laugh. That's an added bonus that I didn't expect. So,
surprise.
Yeah, it's hilarious. So did we answer that question?
We did. Done. Checked off. Boom. This one comes from Debbie, and she says, what was your most terrifying moment or paranormal? Oh, terrifying moment, paranormal or otherwise? Do you have one?
I do. It's not paranormal, though.
Mine's not paranormal either.
Okay.
It's terrifying, though.
Mine's terrifying.
Or it was terrifying to me.
All right, you go first.
Ooh.
Mine's going to be more of a bummer, and I'd have to be quick.
Oh, okay. Can you tell a quick bummer story?
I'm going to tell my quick bummer story.
Okay.
Because yours is not a bummer. Yours is like not another brush with death. Did you see Jesus?
No, but it is scary, weird.
Okay. My most terrifying moment was for sure Odin having an anaphylactic reaction while I was out of town and for a wedding, and he was like 1 year old or 2. No, he was in preschool because it happened at school. They gave him chocolate milk. He's severely allergic to milk.
No.
I got a message on my answering machine. Hey, we didn't know Odin was allergic to milk. It was a substitute teacher. I didn't realize he was allergic. He had one sip. He's complaining his throat itches, but he seems fine. And so regardless, I'm on the phone with Mitch. He's like, he's fine. Oh my God, I'm taking him to the ER. Oh my God, they're EpiPenning him. And I showed up to my friend's house where I was going, and I was like just in hysterics, bawling, like, what if I never see him again? Like, it was terrible. It was awful. He was fine. We now have an EpiPen. everything ended up fine and good. But for sure,
I
that's
didn't realize you were out of town
Oh my God.
when that happened.
Yeah, that was the first one. Because we knew he was allergic, but we didn't realize how bad it was until then.
Yeah.
And then it was like every other, oh, he seems fine. Okay. And then, because they left a message on Mitch's cell phone too. They left messages and didn't EpiPen him. There is an EpiPen at school. They didn't give him anything. So then Mitch went and picked him up. And then as soon as he sort of got moving, exercise will exacerbate anaphylaxis.
Yeah.
Then he really starts doing the and then the
gosh,
ER was like 5 minutes away. He drove him, so it was like an up and down, and I was like, it was bad. It was bad not being able to be there. So
would one sip of milk kill him now without an EpiPen? Or
we've never tried to find out.
Well, don't.
Yeah,
don't
one sip of milk sends him to the hospital with EpiPen and then epinephrine, and don't want to find out. That's it. It's very severe.
He's old enough now. If some teacher tried to give him chocolate milk, he could just be like, "Fuck off."
He's a very good advocate for himself right now. Yes. So that's it. That was not fun. That's not paranormal. Just straight up
but terrifying.
Yeah,
terror. I thought about this one for a little bit, and mine were like, I almost could have died there. Oh, this was scary because I was at a high height or whatever. But no, I remembered something that happened to me when I was about 15. I think I was scared of the room I was sleeping in at the time, and so for some reason I was sleeping in our living room, and our living room. Did I tell this story already? Anyways, you'll recognize if I have. So the living room was a very open floor plan, wide open, and you could go into the kitchen through one door and out the kitchen through another. But you go in from the living room and then in through the kitchen and come out and you're back into the living room.
Okay.
Huge, wide open living room. Huge. And in this wide open living room, there is the front door. And in the front, when you go through the front door, there's tile when you walk in, but then there's carpet all over the living room. And then there's tile in the kitchen. This is important.
Okay.
So I'm 15. Decided I'm sleeping in the living room that night. And I've laid down and I'm trying to go to sleep. And then I hear by the entryway clicking on the tile in the entryway, and it sounds like the nails of maybe a dog or oh my gosh, it's so scary even thinking about it now, or some kind of animal creature.
Right, that's what. Okay.
And instantly I am like, I freeze up because I don't know what it is, but it does not sound like a small possum or something. It sounds like a large creature of some kind. And so I'm laying on the couch, not moving a muscle. And then I hear it in the living room. I'm not even moving my head. I'm not going to move my head. I'm not moving my body, but I hear like it's in the living room next to me. I'm not even going to dare look over. I'm frozen. I'm like trying not to shake at this point. I'm so scared. I mean, it could just be a stray dog. It could be
the chupacabra,
a wolf. It could be a chupacabra. It could
jackalope.
Werewolf. I don't even know. I have no idea.
Sexy Wendigo. That's
should have turned my head.
Dang.
No. So then I mean, it feels like forever, and I'm just waiting there, and I'm listening, and my ears are on hypersensitive alert, and then all of a sudden, I hear the nails. I wish I had. Oh, maybe I'll use what's a good tile sound effect here? I hear on the tiles in the kitchen the nails, and as soon as I realize that the creature is not next to me, I get up and I book it down the hall, and I run down the hall into my parents' room. I get in their room and I slam the door behind me, and I'm like, something's out there. And they're both asleep, and they're, oh, okay. My dad gets out of bed. He gets either a bat or a gun. I can't remember. And he walks out there, and then he comes back a couple of minutes later, and he's like, I didn't see anything, but the front door was wide open.
Oh something in there.
There was something in the house. I don't know what it was.
Oh.
I was so scared. I could not even settle down after I was had gone to my parents' room. I think I ended up sleeping on their floor that night. 15. I was just so scared.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. That sounds terrifying. Oh my God. And the front door was wide open. So whatever it was, opened the door.
I don't know. I pushed it open. Or opened it.
Skinwalkers.
We never locked the door. So even if it was some creature that pushed the handle down or whatever, but
good story. That is terrifying. One night in 148 West Street, Worcester, Mass, armpit of New England, 3rd floor of the creepy old house. A bunch of us had hung out all night. Everyone had gone home. It was super late. It was maybe 1 a.m. or something. And I think I took a shower. My roommate and her boyfriend had just gone to bed 20 minutes beforehand. And I am walking back to my room at the front of the house. And all of a sudden, a freaking bat swoops across the living room and right into my bedroom. I was like, no! And I screamed. And it I'm sure it did a couple loops, but I was like, oh my God. And I'm in just a towel and and I know my roommate and her boyfriend had just gone in their room 20 minutes beforehand. And for sure, this is the age of boning all the time. So I was I gave them a warning.
They
I was
were naked too.
I'm coming in. And I busted in their bedroom. I was like, there's a freaking bat out there. And so I go and I think my roommate's boyfriend goes and tries to take care of the bat. And to no avail, can't find it anywhere. Okay. There's no bat or whatever. I was like, okay, I guess I'm thoroughly, satisfied.
Ooh, paranormal.
So they go back to bed and I'm like, okay. And I go back to my bedroom. I close the door. The freaking bat flies out of my room, across the room again. And I'm still in a robe. And I scream and I'm not even in a robe, just a towel and a towel on my head. And I run downstairs because the landlord lives downstairs and I knock on the door in the middle of the night. I'm like, Ernie, there's a freaking bat. There's a bat in my bedroom. And he's like, okay, let me go get my bat, my bat killing equipment or something. And he comes back with a broom and a baseball mask on his face. It was the most ridiculous get up. And he goes up and he has this broom. He starts hitting stuff and he gets it is in the curtains, ended up being the curtains, and ends up beating the freaking bat to death, throws it on the back porch, and then went back to bed. And this is where my hatred of bats.
So he was actually able to get the.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It was not humane.
No wonder. Yeah.
But I felt insane. It was that every time people went away, this bat came out and attacked me. Well, it didn't really attack me. It felt like it was attacking me. But I was I'm in a robe.
Maybe that was your one opportunity to be Batwoman. And you're just you were all set up to be Batwoman in your towel.
Is that?
All it needed to do was just bite your neck or something.
And
you could have been Batwoman.
Is this what you hope would happen if you got a bat box? This is where your fearlessness of bat lies. You're like, what's your issue?
Gonna be a superhero.
I see zero drawbacks of becoming Batwoman when that bites you.
Oh wait, I don't think that's how you become Spider-Man.
That's how you become rabid and dead. That's how that happens, Britt. And here, I was probably still not the most, up until Odin's anaphylaxis, that may have been one of the more terrified moments of my life.
That's a good one. I like that story.
How did we think that this was going to segue? Okay. The next question comes from Mel. Mel of the podcast. She was on the podcast. Okay. So Mel is asking you, Brittany. She says, I want to know more about Britt's friend's daughter's ghost situation.
She's talking about Elise, which is my friend's daughter, and Jada.
Yes.
Which, if you are a follower of the podcast, you should know the story. Do I want to recap
your
it?
friend?
No,
your friend,
just go back and
exactly.
listen.
Your friend's kid has an imaginary friend that's really a ghost.
Julie just today says, today, Elise and Jada were going to do a tea party. Simon, her son, who I think is 7 or 8, Simon set it up for her, the whole tea party, but Elise wasn't having it. She said Jada was visiting her parents and would be at our house in 20 minutes. 15 to 20 minutes later, Simon was in school, and a virtual school, and Elise and Jada had their tea party. Like on the dot, 20 minutes later.
She's keeping track. She arrived. Oh, my Lord.
Yeah, I just love the idea that Jada's going and she's hanging out with her family, too.
I do, too.
You know, she's like, she breaks up her time.
I love that. And I know that Derek asked on our Facebook page, like he came up with a controlled experiment. Derek, love the thought, put into it. Like, I also want to see the same thing happen. I also can appreciate that it has to be a very awkward, uncomfortable, potentially upsetting situation to try to approach a family about their deceased daughter visiting and playing. I can imagine the dreamer in me, like we've discussed, would probably, if I was trying to put myself in their shoes, I would love to hear that the ghost of my daughter is around and visiting me. I think it
would be hard to say, because if it's coming from podcast amateurs, like, do you really want to? I don't know.
I don't want to play a part in this reunion.
Good.
I just want to tell you that. Let's be clear. I'm not. That's not what I'm proposing. I want to see it happen between Julie and Jada's family. But if I was in Julie's situation, it would be a real hard sell to get me to call up this family and tell them the situation.
I couldn't do it. I don't think I could do it.
Yeah. Unless there was just like a stream of crazy. She gives her address, her phone number, her mom's maiden name, like all her social security number. She just starts dishing.
Yeah, like indefiable. And Julie has asked Elise before, oh, what's Jada's mom's name? Well, what does Jada say her mom's name is? And Elise thinks, or is listening or something, and she goes, Jada's mom.
Yeah, exactly. Like
because what does a 12-year-old call their mom? They don't call them Debbie, they call them mom,
Right. Yeah. So yeah. I'd love to see that happen, but again, I understand we're not making any phone calls or connections, like especially could you imagine? Hey, this is SkeleTales podcast. No, we're not. That's not us.
We would ruin lives.
Yeah, I didn't know. There's emotions involved. It's more than a curiosity when it comes to that step. Okay.
All right. I got a question for you now. Actually, I'm probably going to answer it too. But Aunt Becky's Bakery on Instagram asks, with all the scary stories you tell, do you decorate your house with any creepy decorations?
I do a bit, but I keep it pretty minimal. Although I keep it pretty minimal. We have had my skeleton Shaggy has just been tied up to a chair in our living room staring out the window for several weeks, to the point we don't see it anymore, but to passerbyers or delivery people, his mouth was gagged for a bit. That was the kids. I wouldn't say he's really a decoration as much as just a weird toy at this point, but not overly creepy. No, I wouldn't say so. I don't think it is. I just have my own little creepy trinkets I like staring at, and they like staring at me. What about you, Britt?
I have creepy trinkets. I also have a full-size skeleton that we got at Halloween, and then it's just now it sits in my closet behind me. If we may show this video, maybe not. But it's every morning when I come to get dressed, Bert is hiding behind my clothes. That's my skeleton's name, Bert.
Yeah.
I love animal bones. I'm kind of weird like that. And so I actually have different art pieces around, or jewelry pieces that have dead animal bones on them. So that's kind of creepy.
I take pictures of dead animals. Which is also creepy. Especially birds that hit my window and die whole right outside. They're fair.
So, apparently so many collections.
And then the cat brings and stuff. It's just such a good up close, and I draw. I I tell myself I'm going to draw them, and sometimes I do, but I like having my own source work for art and stuff. And you're never closer to an animal unless it's dead. Or stunned severely. I was going to say your skeleton, Bert, he used to be crouching in the corner over your shoulder when we recorded. So I noticed that he was there. And
he's been pushed back a little, only just for convenience sake, because he was getting in my way.
What did you tell me? Where did he move from, though? Before he was in your closet? Because I was like, Britt, why is he in your closet? That is the creepiest place you could put him, crouching in the corner to scare you every time you walk in there.
Before he was in my closet, I had him underneath the bunk beds of my kids.
It is the worst. Oh my God. I'd be so scared. You're scared.
But he didn't totally fit under there, so his feet were kind of sticking out the end of the bunk
bed. They didn't complain.
They loved it. No,
I guess my kids aren't scared of Shaggy either. They just started playing with him. That's they just
We're
assimilate.
Desensitizing our kids for the good.
So I'm sure we probably really have a lot of creepy art around our house, but we don't think so. I have that haunted Bundy picture. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, not total creepazoids, but
just a little bit,
selectively
just a little bit creepy.
Yeah. I don't print the pictures of the dead animals and frame them on my walls. I'm not that creepy. I just take the pictures and look at them by myself.
In the dark.
No, I don't do that either. I draw them, I swear. Some of them are kind of cool. Anyway, moving on. What's next here? What's the next question? Oh, Deadhead 2090, otherwise known as Baba Jabba, otherwise known as Brian, otherwise known as Baba Jaya, Baba Jabba, Baba Jaya.
All the names.
All of those names.
Bubba Streisand.
Can food be haunted? Asks Deadhead 2090.
How would one know if food was haunted, except for how it is digested? So there have been times I have eaten food that has seriously haunted my body in ways that are very uncomfortable.
Haunts your bowels. I think when I think of haunted food, I think of very fuzzy, old chicken, very moldy, fuzzy chicken. Food being haunted seems a bit pointless. Because
you shit it out.
Yeah, it also seems very limited. Like, you're not going to be around long to, like, you're panic haunting at this point because you're a perishable, right? like, what am I going to do? Like,
I would say food could be more of a cursed item and less of a haunted item.
I feel like food could be poisoned.
Well, that's a fact.
And then someone could die, and then they could haunt. It could play a role in haunting.
Haunt you later.
So
yeah.
But then, like, if we want to go deeper and back, it could actually be a cow if you're a meat eater that's haunted. A haunted animal.
Oh, if the animal is haunted
or possessed.
And you're eating.
I feel like there's some potential there. But,
and then do you then become haunted?
Okay. Or
demons because you ate steak.
That's called mad cow disease, though. There's a
you're literally going crazy from the cow you ate, and then you're like, the demons. Oh no, it turns out.
Yeah. Okay. Well, now I'm reading the question in a different way. So, or do you have a tomato that now has little tiny ghosts, ghosts of tomatoes past haunting it? Is that what he means? Is that food being haunted?
I think he was just trying to get us to talk about diarrhea. Because it's my brother.
Brian, we're not that unsophisticated.
All the time. Only part of the time do we talk about diarrhea.
Yeah, we're real thinkers over here. We're thinking about the different ways.
Tomato ghosts.
Yeah.
We're thinking about
I think I was initially thinking of a possessed piece of food, right? A haunted food would be something that's actually haunted. When we talk about a haunted person.
Yeah, I'm thinking more possessed seems more, yeah. Like it has.
Yeah,
characteristics.
Is my soup being haunted by
Like you're eating your soup and then all of a sudden like eyes open in the soup and you're like, hello, Alissa, on your soup.
That would be me being haunted by food though.
Yeah, maybe.
If a piece of food killed me because it was poisoned or possessed, I would haunt the shit out of that food. So yes, food can be haunted.
Yes, food can.
Final answer.
You know what? We're freaking experts. Yes, food can be haunted.
Definitive.
Final.
Pros.
Done.
Yep.
Check that box. Okay, we're going into, I actually think this does kind of tie around with what we were talking about with Jada a little bit. Debbie number 2 says.
So we found Debbie number 1. She submitted the first question. That's just.
Yes, this is Debbie number 2. Okay. She says, what differences manifest between the spirits of people who die peacefully versus those who die tragically or violently? Do you have an opinion on this one?
I have several opinions, but you could go first.
Just because it's on the forefront of my mind.
Please.
We were talking about with Jada, how she died very tragically, very suddenly in a car accident. And she's still hanging out with her parents, with Elise. But then literally as I said that, I was reminded by what Chris had said about how there are certain spirits who hang around and hang out. Sorry, Chris, the paranormal investigator, who hang out because they have unfinished business and they're just maybe waiting for somebody to take them to, the next realm or whatever. And in that case, that doesn't seem so sad to me when I think about Jada, and that she's maybe not stuck, but she's just waiting. She's waiting for that person, or she's waiting for that guide to take her to the next place.
Maybe, or so my thoughts when you were discussing that, I kind of think that people who die suddenly, violently, there are ones that do not even know that they're dead or passed, right? They don't know. Yeah. So like they almost skipped a step that maybe people who died more peacefully were able to come to terms with or go through that process. They understood they were dying, these sorts of things. Or maybe the ones that are more visible or active or something tend to be the ones who died more tragically or violently, possibly because they don't understand. They are not necessarily at peace with it. Whereas maybe spirits that like are memory spirits or passing through spirits, or I just saw something the other day, 2 things in one day where it was someone taking a picture and kind of a person who used to inhabit a house is a very similar image of just kind of a woman walking through the house, and they're not seeking to be known. They're sort of just carrying on their business, where it seems like the tragic ones might be more wanting to make themselves known.
Yeah.
What difference?
I can see that because they weren't ready to leave.
Yeah.
If it was a sudden tragic death, I'm not ready to die. I'm still here. I want to be here.
Yeah.
And haunt you a lot. Solved. Check. Ching! All right. You ask the next one.
Oh, hey, Britt. What are your thoughts on the way that I pronounce the word vehicle?
Vehicle? Do you say it wrong?
What? Do I say it wrong? I say vehicle. You say vehicle. Vehicle.
Yeah, it's a vehicle.
He's driving the vehicle down the road.
I say it wrong? What are your thoughts on how I say the word vehicle? There's an H in there.
There is an H in there. Well, that's why I'm wondering. You really pounce on that.
You don't say it with the H? Vehicle. You don't say the H?
I do not say vehicle. I do not. Please step out of the vehicle.
Say it again. What do you say?
I say vehicle.
You just said vehicle.
The vehicle. Vehicle. I say
so you don't say
Department
the H.
of If I said like the Department of Motor Vehicles. Vehicles. Via. That's it. Vehicles. Vehicles. Vehicles.
Vehicles.
You have no strong thoughts about my pronunciation of the word vehicle.
No, but can I just say some strong thoughts about how you say the word jingos? You called them Jankos.
Jankos.
And that is weird.
Jinko. How do you spell that? Maybe because I don't remember. How do you spell it? Is it Jen?
I think there's a Y.
Janko? Janko? Janko.
I want to say that it's like Jynco.
I don't know.
Jinko jeans.
Janko. You're probably right.
Oh, no, there's no I at all. Or Y. It's JNCO. Jinko. Oh, my God. They're such tools.
Jinko.
JNCO.
Right. Well, there we go. I mean, I think that was open for interpretation. Januko?
For sure. Sorry.
Jinko.
You can say it however you want. There's no I, Y, or E.
Okay, well, what word bothers you most about the way I say bury? That's probably it.
Probably. Actually, I don't dislike the way you say bury, but it does give me a little tickle. I'm a little delighted when you say bury. That's
how I feel about vehicle when I hear you say it, because it sounds like a very Southern way to say vehicle.
Vehicle. That's so funny. It's to me, what you're saying and what I'm saying sound exactly the same.
Maybe they do to others. Maybe I don't even know how I sound. Vehicle. Anyway.
When I was visiting family up in Oklahoma, I certainly caught myself with like a much deeper accent when I headed up there. And I do that when I visited Australia, I started having an Australian accent. I think I just like leech whatever accents around me.
I wish I had an Australian accent. I don't. It's just when I talk to my mom, or anyone from New York or something. But my mom, for sure, I will start transitioning more into East Coast accent. It comes out. Yeah, definitely. And even Massachusetts too. That will happen as well. But my Australian accent is not good. Okay.
All right. I've got one. Astrid asks, I want to know what part of supernatural stuff scares you the most.
Astrid. Okay. Astrid is my sister-in-law, everybody. I want to make that clear. And if you know me and you know I don't have a sister-in-law named Astrid, then you probably also know who I'm talking about. Okay. Honestly, I am very terrified of an evil dark force or evil spirit entering my space and realm. I would like to say a Ouija board. It is a genuine fear of mine to invite some sort of evil into my home accidentally or into my life.
Would you be scared to do the Ouija with me?
No, I would do it, but that's probably for sure when I'm maybe later when I'm home alone and in the dark, I'll be like, oh shit, what did we do?
Or if we do it, we have to go to a secluded out of your house location.
Yeah, totally. Or even when I try to start doing a past life regression or any of those tapes, someone was talking about it on our Facebook at one point. I do get worried.
Like the hypnotist.
Yeah.
The hypnotist who can have you recall your past life. Yeah, that's pretty wild.
Maybe part of it is that I don't want to make myself vulnerable enough and open enough. I'm so closed from it because I don't want to invite anything that I don't want in or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you like to be in control. And I think the supernatural, there's not a lot of control there. And I think that maybe is a little scary to you too.
Yeah, sure. For sure. Allowing myself to accept it or entertain it. Accepting the good means that there's evil. I don't want to have to deal with evil too. Or something. If I believe in ghosts in general, then what's stopping all the nasty, evil, horrible, bad shit ghosts, not these fun-loving, corner stares. That doesn't sound fun-loving. Just even the inherent good and evil. Why would someone be an evil ghost? Why are there evil spirits? It opens up too many more questions that I would have to deal with and accept. And
interesting.
Or the other scariest thing is that there's nothing after this, nothing out there. That's probably where my
double-edged sword.
Yes, exactly. What about you?
What scares me? as ironic as it is, with our whole thing, our whole shtick of is my dead grandma watching me, I really do have this like, because it's not like I'm a psychic and it's like, okay, family spirit, now I would want to like feel your presence. I don't know if it works that way. Like, what if I'm like, I don't know, the idea that like I have a family member or a spirit just like hanging out in this closet with me right now, it kind of like weirds me out a little bit. I'm not so concerned about evil spirits. I feel like spirits are just, if they are dead people, I think about the people living on this earth. And yes, there are like bad, malevolent humans, but I would say for the most part, they're good humans. And so if you're going to have like a spirit or a ghost or, come around you and haunt you, for the most part, they're going to be probably even killed in nature. But I'm not saying there's not the evil ones. But then there's the weird poltergeisty shit. Like my brother John definitely had an evil presence in his apartment.
I don't want to fuck with that.
Or, we were just talking about Yelly the other night with her evil demonic thing in her room too. So, it exists, I guess, but I think you do have to have a sensitivity to like, I don't know.
I think a question I have that since we are the authorities on this, maybe we have to answer it as well, but your grandma around you, being with you, watching you, I don't think it bothers me as much now as an adult because I'm just like a human and I'm aware of that. And we are just all humans. And as much as judgment, I don't know how much judgment is coming from the other side necessarily. When I was a kid, I felt like everything I was doing was wrong and they were like watching every mistake I made. But do you think that they can be with you and also maybe your mom simultaneously, or do they visit people individually?
Simultaneously.
Are they omnipresent?
Omnipresent. That's an excellent question. And here I am with my associate's degree, and I'm going to say no. I think that if they're present with you, I'd like to hope that all of the focus is with you, or maybe if it is one of those situations where they're like high above in the sky and they see, so-and-so's doing this and this is doing this. Why didn't they brush their teeth this morning?
Oh, so they're like
their
all
breath's
way
going to be stinky all day.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not an expert.
That's
I am
very much like a cartoon view of the afterlife. Like I'm peeking down from this clouds. Right.
My first response is to say that because Jada isn't with her parents and Elise simultaneously, she's like, I'll be with you in 20 minutes for a tea party. I'm going to go visit my parents right now. Later. Yeah. So I think maybe if it's an energy source, the energy is with whoever they want to be with.
Yeah, I think that might be. I say that is how it is as well. Yes, you're right.
Okay, done. Check.
So Tony asks, how quickly are cats reincarnated, if ever? Our new two have the exact same personalities as the two we lost. It's weird.
Tony, I think you already know the answer to this question. Expert. I know that when the cat dies, it is just instantly in another cat's body, ready to be loved, cuddled, and purred upon. Or if the two cats you have are assholes and your other two cats were assholes, maybe that's just what they do.
Yeah. You know how cats have 9 lives? It's because they are reincarnating instantly in their living life. They've already gone through 9 reincarnations. They actually have to die once to recharge, and they come right on back to the next cat. So, and then...
Yeah, once they've hit their 10th.
Yeah.
Their 10th death, boop, instantly. It's, like the video game. You get your bloop, 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 recharged 9 lives, done.
Next. So, absolutely. I hope you name the cats the same thing because that's what they like to be.
Except you have to add the number 2.
Exactly.
Betsy number 2. Gertrude number 2.
Yep.
Because they're grandma cats, I guess. So, friends, we have so many questions that we didn't even answer. This was so fun, but it also
this AMA,
questions.
I mean, you guys asked some great questions, and honestly, we have several more to get through, and I think we're going to break this up into a twofer, a spooky dooky tookie. Nope, didn't work. Toopy party, AMA episode, and we'll do some more paranormal studying, so we have even more solid, great answers for y'all. We'll go on and get our
hitting the books,
like our continuing education credits. What comes out? Bachelor's? That is no time for that. The things we'll learn in a week.
But hey, if you've got some questions you want to ask us, or also stories you would like to tell us, more importantly, we have several ways you can contact us.
Yes, you can email us at skeletalespodcast@gmail.com. You can call us, and Brittany has that number.
302-689-DEAD, 302-689-3323. Don't worry, we won't answer and make things awkward. It's a voicemail, and you can tell your whole story there, or you can just leave a message and say, hey, Britt, or hey, Alissa, it's a long story, call me back. And we will.
Heck yeah.
That cool.
Absolutely. You can also go follow us over on Instagram at SkeleTales Podcast. You can go find us on Twitter at SkeleTales Pod. We are all the places. You should share, you should like, you should review, you should do all of those things you love to do for a podcast you love so much. So much.
Yes, we will even give out some fun swag if you leave us a review.
Yes.
Maybe less swag if it's a negative review.
Oh.
All possible.
No, we're going to come to your house and take some shit from you. You want
flaming bag of doo-doo.
Yeah, if you leave us a negative review. Just,
we also okay.
No, be nice. That's it.
If you're gonna leave a review, just be nice. We have a merch shop. We've got some awesome teas. We have mugs, stickers, keychains. You can buy us a drink, which is the one I really prefer. But you can check that out on our Facebook and also on our website, skeletalespodcast.com.
Yes. Hey, if you want to hear us pronounce a word, you should ask us to do that. We'll do that. We could be your playthings if you're curious what something sounds like coming out of Britt's southern accent mouth.
Or Alyssa's New Yorker accent.
Nasally accent. You can there's another way. Facebook. Hey, come over to our Facebook group. SkeleTales community.
Got an awesome community over there.
It's great.
Yeah.
Go like our SkeleTales
Facebook
page.
I didn't talk about that right away.
We've been kind of forgetting things by the end of these episodes. That's okay. One of these days we'll come up with a little template and that we will follow. 30 episodes in.
Yeah, you know, some people have these things pre-recorded and they just like, oh, let's click this button, boop, and then you hear the same thing pre-recorded. No, we keep things fresh.
Yeah.
To where we forget stuff, and that is natural, baby.
Who wants to be that prepared and organized and not us.
Stinkers.
No. What'd you call an anchor?
Stinkers. They're stinkers.
Hey, Britt.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Britt.
Yeah.
Haunt you later.
Haunt y'all later.
Good night.
Good night.